For our second question, let's get to that. I want to bring in our colleague from the Bangor Daily News, Seth Koenig, to ask that question. Seth, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks to all you candidates for coming out tonight. For the next question, we're going to talk about ISIS. In your opinion, did the president's decision to remove combat troops from Iraq when he did contribute to the rise of the Islamic State? And what would you do now to contain the threat? And continuing the rotation we're going with, we're going to start with Chellie Pingree first.
Well, this is probably one of the most difficult issues we've had to talk about. I mean, it's horrendous, the behavior of ISIS. It's awful what we're seeing, whether it's beheadings or the horrible activities of what is really just a renegade cult out there in many ways that is doing a tremendous amount of damage. I have to go all the way back to the original Iraq War. You know, we shouldn't have gone there in the first place. We made enormous mistakes as a country doing what we did, and we started a chain of reactions that we are still having a hard time fixing. I was a very strong opponent of the war. Even in this most recent crisis, I insisted that my belief was that the president had to come before Congress. I opposed further action there because I think it's very hard to send our troops back in, to resume activity there, and not have another tremendous loss of lives, to find ourselves years down the road saying, you know, how do we extricate ourselves here? It's expensive for our country. It's hard on the families and the people who serve in our military. I just don't think we can currently be involved in this situation. It's a hard thing to do.
All right, thank you so much. Seth Koenig has morphed back into me since I'm in charge of the clock here, but he will ask follow-up questions if he's got them. Richard Murphy, that same question to you.
I am strongly against continuing our presence in the Middle East in general. I would not support the president's decision to dedicate more time, possibly sacrifice more of our soldiers, and spend more of our much-needed treasure overseas. I'm not really sure which original war Congresswoman Pingree is referring to. We've been bombing over in that section of the world since '91. It hasn't changed anything. And what we're doing now is not going to change anything either. We need to stop being involved. We need to stop training, supplying weapons, supplying. A lot of the blame rests on us and the fact that we're enabling what's been going on there. We keep on fighting the same people that we just finished training.
Thank you so much. And Isaac Misiuk, the same question to you. 1 minute, please.
Well, Congresswoman Pingree is very on point on this. It's a very tough and delicate situation. But the problem is that right now, in the history of any conflict, airstrikes alone have not won any war. And everyone expects a feel-good answer. But the fact of the matter is that the only way to contain this is to send ground troops, unfortunately. I hate the idea of having to send our armed forces, our men and women, into that conflict, but I don't believe we have to do it alone. There are options. The Peshmerga have stood by us and have supported our cause, and they're ready and willing to fight to help further this. But as Americans, we're faced with a really tough question. Do we do nothing and pray that we don't have a repeat of September 11th? Or do we stop this evil in its tracks with the allies that we have in the Middle East?
And so that concludes our answers, our prepared answers for that. Let me go ahead and ask all three of you, though. I believe you're saying that you do advocate for, if needed, boots on the ground. The other two of you, I think, are not. Am I fairly summarizing your position?
Accurate.
And Mr. Murphy?
Absolutely not.
Let me start with you then. Why not, if he's saying he thinks that's the only way to contain it? Or do you agree with what he's saying it's the only way to contain it?
We had boots on the ground before. It didn't contain it. When we left, it came back. If we send boots on the ground again, when we leave, it'll come back again. You cannot contain this. We can't. Not from here. Not from the other side of the world. Not from in a position where we will always be the foreigners over there. As soon as we leave, it's going to resume. And if either one of you are reelected this time around, and you consider sending troops on the ground, you're possibly talking about sending me, and I don't appreciate that.
Chellie Pingree, I want to give you a chance to respond to this as well. You said you would not put troops on the ground in the situation, even if he believes it was the only thing to do to contain it.
And I just want to say again, I appreciate Richard's service. Like so many other people who have served this country, we have just incredible armed forces, and people have gone there and they've gone back for deployment after deployment in a situation that frankly hasn't gotten any better. It is very likely that putting boots on the ground would stop the situation for a while, and there's certainly an effort behind wanting to do that. Many of my colleagues in Congress think that is what we should do. I'll go back after the November election, and we will have many more briefings, and we'll talk about it again, and I will try my best to do the most responsible thing. But I do not believe that we can do this, just send our troops in for, a month or two, and then they all come back home. These end up being endless situations. Whatever happens there, it has to involve many more countries than are currently involved in it right now. We cannot be constantly the police of the world.
And Isaac Misiuk, since you're the outlier on this particular issue, I want to give you the final word. If you could, just keep it tight for us.
Oh, definitely. I agree wholeheartedly with the Congresswoman that we can't be the only ones, and we need more involvement from other countries in this coalition. But, I mean, the same thing happened with September 11th. Nothing was done about the preeminent attacks, and look where that got us. And the last thing I'd like to see is another terrorist attack on our soils. And I think one of the other ways that we can do it is by strengthening our borders in the south.
All right, thank you so much to all of you. Richard Murphy, let me echo that. Thank you for your service. I know you're a reservist as well.